Mothering Sunday celebrated for over a century, a time when millions of cards are sent and bouquets delivered to our mums. These traditions long established and enjoyed. The same cannot be said, though, for the rights of mothers to go to work. This mum, Suella Braverman, is also the Attorney General, one of the highest lawyers in our land. And this month marks a year since her government had to pass a law just to allow for her to take maternity leave and to prevent her having to resign, the first cabinet minister in our history to do so. From your point of view, how surreal was that, to have to pass a law to have your baby and stay in your job?
It was pretty surreal, you're right. It started with a phone call to the Prime Minister, which again is pretty crazy. I think it's always a bit daunting for someone in the workplace thinking about telling their boss that they're pregnant, let alone telling the Prime Minister. And when I told the Prime Minister that I was expecting a baby in 6 months, he was incredibly supportive. Congratulations, great news, don't worry, whatever you need, we'll sort it out. And that was just a huge relief. I was daunted about it. And we quickly discovered that this hadn't happened before at cabinet level, and as a result there was no provision, and I would have had to resign if I wanted to have the baby and take some time off to spend with her. And when we discovered that, when Prime Minister discovered that, we were all pretty horrified, and that's what led to passing a new Act of Parliament to rectify that anomaly.
Barriers broken by one mother, but very different barriers felt by others. At the moment, a woman would need to take an employer threatening them with post-maternity redundancy to a tribunal within 3 months of returning to work. Do you think the government have done enough in that area, or do you think the legislation's about right?
We have protected in our equality legislation maternity rights so that it is unlawful to dismiss a lady because she's falling pregnant. Unfortunately, employers are breaking the law, and we do need to change that culture.
Jodie Sims had her first child 8 years ago. Weeks before she returned from maternity leave, her stand-in was promoted without the role initially being offered to Jodie. She felt isolated but lacked the energy and money to fight a potentially protracted legal battle.
I did not have the emotional strength at that time, so it's all well and good for me to say with hindsight I wish I'd pushed against them. Now that there's a bit of distance and I've got a bit more fire in me, I didn't have it in me then. I just didn't. I was crying all the time, so yeah, I just had to let it go.
I guess you'd like to see better protections and more security for women when they come back from work?
Yeah, absolutely.
And preparations underway in this place to do exactly that.
Rather than simply enhancing the tribunal system that's currently in place, what I believe truly is we should be adopting policies such as the ones they have in Germany, where women are protected from being made redundant for 6 months after they've had a baby.
The government now looking at changing the law to provide further protections, but women in the workplace still battling. Beth Rigby, Sky News, Westminster.